Hello.
What's up? How are you, Beabadoobee?
I'm good. Sorry, why is the camera so zoomed in? I was having dinner.
Oh, it's all. I understand. Was it 8 o'clock there right now?
Yeah, it's like 8, or like 9 past 8. Yeah.
I feel it. I feel it. Well, I'm Jordan, by the way. Thank you so much for making time for us on a lovely Friday. A month out from Fake It Flowers. We really appreciate you making the time. It means a lot.
No, thank you for having me.
While I was prepping for this interview, I was doing my research, digging in deep, and people always use the words bedroom pop or like 90s infused with your music. What do you make of those labels? Do you embrace them? Do you reject them? Is it just like whatever? What do you make of that?
It's quite strange really, because I don't really like. I think when you put labels on things, it kind of restricts some of the type of music I make. And I'm like, obviously I'm appreciative, and I think it's super cool that people like to say those things, because everything else, if you call so many other amazing artists bedroom pop, and I'm glad to be on that list, but I feel like I've the whole idea of me being inspired by a time is super cool, but I guess I don't want it to, make it like my whole thing. Always does the 90s stuff. I guess it's just I find a lot of inspiration from that time, but I try to put my own twist on it. Yeah.
I wonder if that's a generational thing because you're 20, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm 27, and like we grew up listening to everything because that just was the nature of the accessibility of music, right? Like we can go listen to hip hop and then alternative just like that, and we don't really mind that. So I feel that. As far as the 90s goes, as a 90s kid, I love hearing your reverence and influence, or that you appreciate it. But I was wondering if there's anything from the 90s that maybe us 90s kids we prop up too much. They're like, okay, Jordan, calm down with that. Is there anything that you think is overrated from the 90s that you can maybe tell us, slap our wrist for a sec?
I don't want to say anything. I mean, I feel like, no, I don't. I want to embrace everything of
Okay.
that. I feel like it, there are some really like, actually, no, I think it's really interesting. It's because I'm not from that time, and it's like, I find it so intriguing, like the movies and music and the style. I guess, it really, I don't know, it just, I guess I find it, I'm really into it because I think it's really cool. But
it's romantic.
yeah, but I don't purposely seek out, to try and do this because it reminds me of that time. It's just because I'm listening to that sort of music. It just kind of happens without me realizing.
I feel that. I didn't mean to put you in a box or say something incendiary.
No.
I always wonder, because I think even my own generation's kind of like annoying about it. So I wanted to get your perspective as someone who is rational about it.
Yeah.
I guess. So I guess the big breakthrough, at least here on Go 96.3, was Copy for Your Head. I was out here playing Copy, and then to hear it get sampled, I thought that was really cool. And we've talked to artists on our Q&A series about sampling other works and what that's like, but we've never talked to someone who's been sampled. So how did you feel, having your work reinvented and become a massive thing? What was that process like for you in your head?
It was really weird because obviously, like, I never expected, music to happen this way. And Coffee was the first song I had ever written, and for it to be sampled and for it to gain as much traction as it did, it was just a really strange experience, and it was super overwhelming. I got a lot of attention that I never really wanted. Like, I'm like kind of used to being in the sidelines of things. Like, it's kind of fucking weird. But it's also such an amazing thing because so much people who don't really listen to my type of music, like Care or Sorry, you know, have found me from that song and like discover this new type of, you know, discover more as a artist, and I think that's super cool. And like overall, it's it's been like a positive effect. And even though it's so, like at the beginning I was like, what the hell, this is really weird, because I didn't expect any, it's like this much people even caring about me. But yeah, it's cool though.
We do really do not care, do not care.
Oh my.
That's a wonderful transition into. That's also, thank you for sharing. I know it's a, you know, having it be your first song and get sampled. It's a very personal thing, so I appreciate you, you know, diving into that and being real about it. Fake It Flowers, October 16th. We are stoked. What can we expect from it conceptually? What, you know, themes are going to dive into, or is this more of like a, you know, a sonic exploration? What are we getting into with this album?
I guess it's just like just complete honesty and you know, embracing that vulnerability I felt through, you know, growing up. Like it's like a mixture of songs I've written over time. Like there's this one song I wrote on tour, and some songs I'd written before, like before my first ever EP, or before like Space Cadet, my third. And like, you know, it really represents a time. And I guess I wanted people to kind of know me better. And I know no one will inevitably know me as a person ever, but I guess I had to write music to make my mind feel okay. And sonically, I feel like I've grown as an artist, and I found so much more bands, and it's, you know, very Veruca Salt inspired, and Alanis Morissette, and you know, all those amazing female women, front women of that time. And it's but yeah, I definitely think there it does touch base with my old music, and this new kind of era of Fake It Flowers.
What does Fake It Flowers mean? It's fun to say on the radio. Sometimes I almost swear, which is kind of scary. But like, what's the meaning of Fake It Flowers? I have an idea of like someone just giving you flowers, just like, you know, fake sympathy. But I don't want to assign that. What's going on? Or it can be private if you want it to be private. But I always found that to be a very intriguing title as soon as it was announced.
It's really, you know, down to your interpretation of the title. I feel like what you just said makes so much sense. Like my boyfriend said something about, you know, something along the lines of that. It's just kind of like covering up everything. But it's a really interesting story. When I write songs, I like make little demos on my phone, and I like demoed some songs in the rehearsal place where my band and I rehearse, and it would automatically save as Fake It Loud. Really strange. It would save as that name. And when I went back to my house, and it's like those are completely different, like the rehearsal place in my house are like the different ends of London. So it's like, why would it still save as this Fake It Flowers thing? It would save as Fake It Flowers 1, Fake It Flowers 2, like for every song. And then I realized it was like a cute little flower shop next to the rehearsal place, and I thought that was just a cute little story. And I was like, yep, I'm gonna call my album Fake Flowers.
And it's beautiful, and it seems harmonious with the message of care. I was watching your Genius interview where you broke down the lyrics, and it was mind opening to hear the, you know, again, it's crazy how you can write a song meaning one thing, and then I can hear it and it means two totally different things. And that divide has always been interesting to me. What do you make of that? The fact that a listener can interpret something different than maybe how you meant it. Does that frustrate you as an artist, or is it just kind of the nature of artistry in the modern era?
I think that is just the nature of, you know, and of music, and being an artist. Like, you know, I create a song for myself, but inevitably someone's going to listen to it and interpret it their own way to suit you know, the situation they're living in. And like if it relates to them in their interpretation, and that helps them out, and that just makes everything worth it. Like I'm like, I always say, like, if one person, you know, if my music helps at least one person out, I'm doing something right, you know.
I guess that's why humanity is drawn to create, right? The expression and the unity and the community. That's probably the magnetism of it all. How much of this album was written in lockdown? You know, the last, I guess, 6 months.
Um, it wasn't. I did my album like at the beginning of the year, like recorded it after the tour I did with the 1975. Like a bit before that and a bit after. And the only song that was recorded during lockdown, I'd recorded on like a 4-track cassette recorder with the help of Soren's brother, and that's coming out as a single. But yeah, that's the only song that is on the album that is from lockdown. Other than that, like everything was kind of done prior.
Whoa, that's incredible. So you recorded it on a 4-track, a little one of those little joints.
Yeah.
So you're using. I love it. So you're being consistent and recording with 90s stuff too.
Yeah, it sounds cool. So.
I can't wait to hear it. Have you been writing throughout? I mean, I'm assuming you have, or has it been all Fake It Flowers mode?
It's pretty much all Fake It Flowers. I did manage to kind of go to Oxford and kind of write and do my thing there. But yeah, right now I'm just living. I think it's pretty rare that artists can have this opportunity of living in the world of their album. So I'm taking it. I'm taking this, not for granted.
I love to hear that. I guess like gratitude and that generosity, like, even just taking the time to hop on the FaceTime with some random dude across the pond. It means a lot and I appreciate it. How's the rollout been? You're kind of handcuffed because usually, you'd come to the station, we do the interview, we probably, what I mean? Like how have you been adjusting to, you're getting all these cool opportunities and more exposure in you're kind of handcuffed by the reality. How do you feel about that?
It's really weird because everything's through the internet because of Corona. I feel like everything's better in real life. I think like I honestly think it'd be so much more cooler if we were to actually meet. But I think I like this time being at home because I've just been on tour a lot, and I like the fact that I'm kind of doing it in the comfort of my own space. But at the same time, it really does make me miss like tour and playing shows and meeting people and stuff like that. So it's pretty conflicting. The whole Fake It Flowers kind of campaign, like this whole thing and all of these things do. There's a lot, but I feel like I'm just getting used to it. It's the beginning of everything, so.
I must say, it's pretty cool to like be interviewing these artists from my kitchen, and you can go have dinner, then come up and do it. It's a cool positive. It's probably good for our mental health too. I feel like before you got on, we were talking about like the city life, and we're always running around looking for the next big thing. Whereas now it's like we're forced to stay at home and be, I guess, grateful. And maybe that's a positive. Maybe that's rose-colored lens. For Fake It Flowers, for all the music we haven't heard yet, or maybe something we have heard of, what are you most proud of on the album? The way you're like, hey, at World, here I am. I'm Beabadoobee. This is what I'm about.
I think it's just being able to like even write as many songs on the album and release it, and have just the opportunity to even create music. Like I'm so proud of it existing, and being able to kind of release these songs that are so personal to me and that I care about, and like it's the first time where I am genuinely banging out my own music. Like, I guess I obviously have the album on my phone, so it's like I'm like I'm really proud of it, and I don't care if no one really fucking likes it.
I don't think you'll have that problem.
Because I'm fast. And yeah, I'm just proud that it exists, and I can't wait for people to hear it. And I know my parents are gonna be proud of me, and yeah, it's cool.
I love it. Well, if you want to send over the link, I promise it won't leave me and my fiance and my cat and dog. All right, I'll just be us. All right.
bro.
Yeah, just super low key and discreet. Beabadoobee, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it. Next time you're in Minnesota, coffee on me. Yo, have a good night. Nice to meet you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.